You're a Scrum Master, and your project through scope creep has grown and grown and grown. And your backlog, your product backlog has grown and grown and grown. What do you do? How do you handle it? What are the best ways of scaling your product backlog in this situation? Hello, my name is Tim McDearman, and I am a senior IT project manager and Scrum Master, and I live in the beautiful city of Tampa Bay, and there is all this beautiful, beautiful nature all around Tampa. I'm now in a spot called Alderman Ford Park or Nature Preserve, and behind me is a beautiful body of water, a stream running down. It's to my left, and I am enjoying life right now. So you have this project, this product backlog that has grown over time, and you have multiple teams all sharing the same product backlog. What do you do? Well, one of the things that you don't do is you don't break the product backlog up into two product backlogs, one per team. You still want one product backlog because each team needs to see what the other team is doing to stay in sync with each other and to continue to have a good understanding and overview of what the whole project is about. So avoid breaking it down by teams or by components into separate backlogs. Um, the best way to break down the teams is by feature. Let's say it's an e-commerce site. You would split the teams up by one is on an e-commerce site. You browse a catalog of goods and you make your selection. So there's one team that can be working on the catalog feature, and then you make a purchase off of that catalog. And so you have a grocery cart feature. You add items into the grocery cart, and then you purchase them. So you could have, say, just for explanation purposes, have a catalog team and have a grocery cart team, etc. So that would be a good way of breaking it down into two teams. But you still just want one product backlog. Now, how do you deal with that though when you have two teams? There are ways to create views in Jira and other Scrum tools, etc. So for each team, they would have the view of the whole product backlog, and then they would have a view of the items. So for this e-commerce example, the items, one view would be the catalog view. The stories that apply to the catalog will be assigned to that view. So the catalog team would be able to view just their stories. And then you would have another view into the product backlog for the grocery cart team, etc. So they could each, when they're doing their daily scrums, just view what's in their view, their user stories. So you could break up the product backlog by views, but keep the same product backlog, one big product backlog. Now, when dealing with the big giant product backlog, and you're doing your grooming sessions, you normally on a small project you might look at the next upcoming sprint. But when these large projects, probably better to look ahead 2 or 3 sprints instead, to kind of get a view of the dependencies that in critical spots, get knowledge of those things further in advance by looking longer into the product backlog, further into the future, 2 or 3 sprints instead of just one sprint. All right, so that's how I would propose to, scale the product backlog in such a situation. Now, I'm going to continue my journey. I'm out on a boardwalk in the middle of a lake, and hopefully we'll be able to make it back home before I melt to death out in the heat. Thank you.